Hey everybody, it's Derek back with another Monday motivational message. So what happens when challenges and obstacles start piling up in your life and make you feel like you're drowning? What happens when the fear of all the bad things that could happen start to take over? So in other words, how do you keep moving forward? I'm going to tell you something that happened to me several years ago. I had been asked to speak to a group of young adults, probably from the ages of, early teens to early 20s. All of those people had had either pulmonary hypertension or heart transplants. And I had just finished the Ironman in Lake Placid. It was my first one. And so we're sitting around a fire and we're having this fireside chat, and I'm standing there and everybody is kind of sitting around me, and I'm sharing my story. And I thought I was doing an okay job and it was uplifting. And I finished the story, and then there's a question and answer session. So this one young woman, she's probably in her early 20s. She looks at me and she's like, "Hey Derek, thanks for the story. That was really great. My question for you is this: how do you keep moving forward?" And at first I misunderstood the question. I thought she was asking me, how do you keep moving forward in an Ironman triathlon? But then I thought about it again. I looked at her and I looked at every eye of every person sitting there, and you could hear a pin drop. And the question that she was asking me wasn't how I move forward in an Ironman. It was how I move forward every day. And it wasn't how I do it. It was, how does she do it? And I looked around, and it was the question that was on all of their minds. And the impact of that hit me. The things that I went through and the things that these kids had been going through all of their lives are things that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And here they are with the weight of life and death that they've been shouldering their whole lives. Incredibly strong people asking me how they get through another day. And when I realized this, it hit me like a punch in the gut. And so I kind of sat down and I looked at the counselors, the adults in the room, and they just had this look of, you know what? They're able to handle this. Give them the truth. And so I looked at this girl and I said, you know what? You're right. I've been dealing with this for probably a decade. At that point, those people have been dealing with these things their entire lives. And I said, what if you could have the ability to see into the future? What if you knew that you had a month left to live? And I said, let's make it a little worse. What if you found out that you only had a week? Well, let's make that a little worse. And what if you found out that you only had 24 hours left to live? What are you going to do? Are you going to run to your bedroom and jump into your bed and cry and pull up the covers to your neck? Sit in the darkness and say, woe is me, for the last moments in your life? I don't think so. I don't think that's what you would do. I think what you're going to do when you realize that I've got 24 hours left is you're going to get up and you're going to make the very most of every minute of every hour of your last 24. You're going to do all the things that you've wanted to do. And you're going to go to bed that night knowing that you gave those last 24 hours everything you had. And you're going to go to bed with the comfort of knowing that you did it that way. And for some magical reason, you close your eyes to go to sleep and you wake up the next day. What do you do then? Well, you do the same thing over again. You get up, you get on your feet, and you do all the other things in life that you've wanted to do. And when you go to bed that night and you wake up the next day for some reason, you do it again. And the next day you do it again. And you keep on doing it over and over and over again. And pretty soon what you've done is you've strung together enough amazing days in your life that you've made an amazing life. That's how you do it. Sometimes it's not going to be life or death situations. Maybe it's not a life or death situation for you. Maybe you're dealing with stress at work. Maybe you're dealing with financial issues. Maybe you're dealing with relationship struggles. And so, what I would do is just ask you, I know you're busy. I know you've got a lot going on in your day, but when you get home from work tonight, when you're going to bed and you have a few minutes to yourself, think about all those things that you're struggling with and take the time to narrow it down, not to 10 things, not to 5 things, just one thing that is bothering you the most. And now I know the first thing you're probably going to want to do is reach out to the people that you know that have been through it and that you can commiserate with, because misery loves company. But I would advise you to stay away from the misery loves company crowd. There's a lot of depression there. And some people just want to complain and wallow. You've got to find those people in your life, whether it's friends, family, coworkers, that have been there and can be someone you trust, and that person has to be someone who's gotten to the other side, gotten through it. Maybe you don't know anybody that's been through everything that you're going through right now. So maybe you reach out to a social media group, or maybe you find a book, a story of someone who's been through it already. Let those people or those things be your roadmap on the way out. And what you've got to do is you've got to take that thing that you're dealing with and you've got to figure out the next step. What you do after that is you've got to do that next step. There's no magic pill. There's no magic button. There's work. There's hard work, and it's going to be tough. But when you're in a situation that needs to change, the only way it's going to get any better is if you change. You've got to put in that work. So another thing that you can do while you're focusing on your job and your career and these struggles that you're dealing with is to actually don't forget to take care of yourself. I know that being outside, being in the sunshine, exercising, firing up those endorphins, they're a cliche. But you know what? They're a cliche for a reason. And just because they are a cliche doesn't make them any less effective. So get out there. And if you can manage it, try and find that person, your trusted guide, to actually get outside and be active with them. Go for a hike with them. Figure out what that next step is. And then when you've actually figured out that next step and you've done the work, cross off that next step and figure out the next step after that. You've got to realize that this journey back to your health, back to your sanity, back to a normal existence has to be taken one step at a time. First off, find your one thing. Second, think about who your trusted guide on this journey is going to be. And lastly, get moving. Today is the first day where you figure these things out and you map your way back to a better life. Listen, I hope you liked my message today. If you liked this one, you might like some of the other ones. I actually do these Monday motivational messages every Monday. So check them out. Come like recycledmanspeaks.com. I actually would like to wish you a great day, great week, and see you around. Take care, everybody. Bye.